Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Paikin, and here we go again. A federal election debate among the four leaders of Canada's major political parties. And let's start tonight by introducing them. The leader of the Conservative Party, Stephen Harper. Right beside him, Jack Layton, the leader of the New Democratic Party. The leader of the Liberal Party is Michael Ignatieff, and the leader of the Bloc Québécois is Gilles Duceppe. We have 2 hours together, and we don't want to waste too much of that time going over the rules. Let's just say that the leaders know the rules, they've agreed to follow the rules, and they've agreed that I should enforce the rules, and so I will. Our format calls for a one-on-one debate, followed by a four-man debate on each of 6 questions. The questions came from you. You sent more than 6,000 email questions to CBC, CTV, and Global Television. Network producers went through them all and picked the ones that will be asked. Our debaters were given the broad themes of the questions, but not the specific. The first 2 debaters, decided by a draw, will be Mr. Harper and Monsieur Duceppe, and Mr. Harper will get to speak to the question first. And here is our first question of the evening. It's on the economy. Roll tape, please.
My name is Robert Belita from Newmarket, Ontario. My question is this: how can the Conservative Party justify a $6 billion tax cut to corporations when Canadian families are struggling to make ends meet? Is this policy not simply putting more money in the pockets of wealthy corporations who have failed to share their wealth in the past?
Okay, Mr. Harper, it's right to you for the first response on corporate tax cuts.
Well, first of all, there are no corporate tax reductions in our current budget. We cut taxes several years ago across the board, not just for businesses big and small, also for consumers, the cut to the GST, for individuals and for families. The question in this election is whether taxes should be raised back up. Our position is clear. The Canadian economy has been performing well, coming out of this recession, stronger and faster than others. It's creating jobs. If you raise taxes, all you will do is impose costs on consumers and employees, cost this economy jobs, and hurt ordinary families.
Okay,
so this party doesn't favor raising taxes and hurt ordinary families.
Okay,
so this party doesn't favor raising taxes.
Yes, I would first like to congratulate Mr. Harper for answering a question from a citizen for the first time in this campaign. Having said that, discussing economy means we have to know all the facts, all the figures, and there's something we still don't know. What happened during the G8 and G20 summits? It seems that $50 billion was spent incorrectly during those summits. You have the report in hands, and I'm pretty sure that Mr. Layton, Mr. Ignatieff, and I all agree that you release that report. I want you to release that report. Will you release that report?
Well, first of all, let me just say I don't have the report. This is an Auditor General's report, and the Auditor General did say that the document that was released yesterday should not be relied on. What I can tell Canadians is this, and it's very clear. All of the projects in that fund, they were all advanced by municipalities, approved by our government. Every single dollar is accounted for, and all those projects have been publicly disclosed and will serve those communities for many years to come. And that's what we've done across this country with the Economic Action Plan, 26,000 such projects that are creating jobs and building good legacies for our communities.
But I'll tell you something. During the 2008 election, you were saying there's no recession coming. Even with the economic statement made by Mr. Flaherty on November 14, it was not an economic statement, it was an ideological statement, and no plan at all. And if we had followed you that time, you would have cut a lot of expenses during a recession. We force you to come with a plan, not enough. But do you realize that with that plan, and considering the help you gave, let's say for Ontario, giving $10 billion for the auto sector, during the same time you gave only $170 million to the forestry sector in Quebec. That was a real double standard, helping people in Ontario. I got nothing against that, but why not helping people in the forestry sector?
Well, first of all, Mr. Duceppe, the reality is quite different. Of course, in November of 2008, we met the G20 and we all agreed we would have stimulus plans that we rolled out across the world. Canada's was among the largest, most quickly rolled out and most successfully executed of all those plans, which is why we have superior job creation in this country. In terms of our support for the automobile and forestry sectors, I make no apologies for supporting either. We have provided billions of dollars of support also to the forestry sector in terms of helping businesses modernize with new technology, in terms of opening markets, in terms of financial services, literally billions of dollars for this industry all across the country. And that industry is beginning to turn the corner. But we do have more work to do, and we'll continue to focus on those problems.
Are you telling me tonight that in that statement made by Mr. Flaherty, November 14 to 08, there was a stimulus plan? Are you really telling me that?
The statement of Mr. Flaherty in November was the fiscal and economic update. It was not the budget. We said the budget would be coming shortly.
You just said there was a stimulus plan. Was it a stimulus plan?
We said that all G20 countries had agreed to put together a stimulus plan.
All the other countries were coming.
That's what we did, and ours actually came out far faster and was rolled out far more quickly than those in the other countries.
You were forced to do that because there was no stimulus plan at all in that statement, which has nothing concerning economy. It was all ideology,
we're the ones
not
who brought
economy.
forward the stimulus plan. Unfortunately, you and the other parties decided to oppose those measures over the past couple of years, but they have been good for Canadian communities and for the Canadian economy. We're very proud of the job that we did.
Certainly not good for the people working in the forestry sector. I can tell you that. Go in Gaspésia, go in Abitibi-Bidon, Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean, people will tell you, just talk to those people instead of refusing answering questions, and you'll see that those people are facing a very tough time.
I was recently in Windsor, Quebec, where we made a major investment, part of investments across the country, in the pulp and paper industry in that part of Quebec. And that was very well received. Unfortunately, once again, these were programs the Bloc Québécois decided to vote against in the House of Commons. So look, I fully recognize there are still major challenges in the forestry sector, but we will continue to work with the industry to advance that industry's interests and continue to make the investments that will make that a strong and competitive sector into the future, because it's a sector that Canadians depend on all across this country.
And this year you're coming with another thing denounced unanimously by the National Assembly in Quebec and supported by Mr. Ignatieff and Layton, giving Newfoundland Labrador $4.5 billion to build their electricity lines, while Hydro-Québec we built our lines alone. We didn't receive a single penny from Ottawa, but to treat as a Canadian coalition.
Well, last word in this one to Mr. Harper.
We have said we're prepared to support the Lower Churchill project. This is a project that has the capacity of dramatically reducing greenhouse gas emissions and climate change in Atlantic Canada, a major shift to clean energy in that part of the country. We've been very clear. We will treat all provinces equitably with similar projects. We've already done some projects in Quebec and Saskatchewan, Yukon, and we will continue to support projects that are good for reducing climate
Gentlemen,
change.
That brings the end to the one-on-one part of the debate. We now broaden it to the four of you. Mr. Ignatieff, do you want to start it off?
Let's get back to the question. It was a question about why you could possibly make sense of $6 billion of corporate tax breaks in the middle of the largest deficit in Canadian history. You're the highest spending government in the history of the country, and some of it has been absolutely sheer waste, and that's what the Auditor General report is all about. This wasn't stimulus. This was just scattering money around to build gazebos and fake lakes, and Canadians don't have confidence in your management of the economy because you waste public money. Well, that's the issue, and that's why the Auditor General's report is saying not merely that you wasted money, but you didn't tell the truth to Parliament about it. This money was supposed to be spent on the border. You spent it 300 kilometers away.
Okay, let's get
that kind of deception undermines confidence in your leadership.
Well, once again, Mr. Ignatieff, you're citing a report that the Auditor General's office said should not be relied upon. We've been very clear these projects have all been publicly disclosed. They were all supported by the local community, just as the other 26,000 projects we've done across this country.
But
let's be clear about the issue of taxes. Taxes were reduced in this country 4 years ago. The question is not reducing them now. There are no corporate tax cuts in the next phase of Canada's Economic Action Plan. What is proposed by Mr. Ignatieff and the other parties is to raise taxes on 100,000 Canadian businesses. They will not pay those taxes. They will pass that on to consumers. They will pass that on to employees in further jobs. Jack Mintz, an expert in this area, says that one of the foremost experts in Canada, says that kind of policy will cost the Canadian economy 200,000 jobs and $40 billion in business investment.
We need to hear from Jack Layton.
We have a very different record.
We need Jack Layton.
Robert asked us a very straightforward